captain now. They're nothing but trouble, quite frankly. This is an Oregon state senator. He happens to be Somalian. He has a message for ICE, and it's not "I am the captain now." It's something else.
Let me say to this federal agencies and ICE, this is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome, and you need to get the hell out of our community.
Ooh, scared of that guy, aren't you? We do not need you. You know, it reminds me, how did I get the jelly in the donut? I do not know. I do not know. You get it? Sorry, guys. That's going to do it for us today on Stinchfield. Stinchfield's Army rolls because of all of you. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Get ready, America. March 25th through 28th, CPAC USA 2026 takes over the Lone Star State. And Real America's Voice brings you wall-to-wall coverage, live shows from the convention floor, exclusive interviews, powerful panels, and live music and entertainment. All from the massive Real America's Voice stage. Hear from Rav's own Steve Bannon.
The only way we don't have victory if we surrender. And we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit.
And Jack the Sobig live.
Freedom is a responsibility that we must uphold every single day of our lives.
Plus Dr. Gina.
We always came together because we know what we're fighting for.
Rob Schneider and Alex Stein bring the laughs with stand-up comedy. And the music lineup features Natasha Owen, Deepak, Celeste Kellogg, and more. CPAC USA 2026, only on Real America's Voice. Presented by Patriot Mobile, Birch Gold Group, and Trump Tumbler. If your TV sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
Oh my God, he's already in suffering.
It is live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
Goodness.
Good to be the king of March Madness, they call me. That's right.
It's early. It's early.
Come on in, everybody.
It's early.
Okay.
Get a load of this guy.
You almost had a dookie there.
Let's go right to that. You just be quiet.
You almost had a
Slippy. It's not your time to talk yet. Let's just go to the Aaron. Put up my screen here.
No, you just slate everything.
Get rid of the four of them.
What an insufferable
because who cares? And let's just put up my.
I don't know if I want to do that.
That's very nice.
My screen so far. Okay, let's see here. Big D's games. We'll go over here. We got a winner, and we got a winner. Oh, we got a winner and a winner. And let's see. Oh, we got a winner and a winner. And then let's go to the other side of the bracket. We've got who's played. So, we got a winner and a winner. Okay, that would be first place. That would be, I think, 10-0 right now on day number one. Big D.
That's impressive.
What an insufferable.
So welcome on in, Big D Sports Show for 2 hours. 8 to 10 right here.
You almost had no career when
I know.
If Sienna didn't go on a siesta, Sienna goes on a siesta for 6.5 minutes. They couldn't hit. They could have decided a barn with a steamroller.
Exactly.
The Buffalo Bills would have had three Super Bowl rings too if he'd kicked it through the uprights. Guess what? You lost.
No, they got bombed. 52.
Guess what?
Dallas destroyed them in that Super Bowl.
We won the game, and now we're on to the championship. So.
It started at 4:40 p.m. today Eastern Time with a text from Damon with a whelp as his Dookies were down 58-53.
9 minutes in my gambling career.
He follows it up with 9 minutes to redeem my career of picking. The ominous 9 minutes to redeem his career.
Yeah.
And now he's an insufferable prick because he went 10.
10-0.
How about these
on
guys?
my way to the championship. Thank you very much.
How about these guys?
Yeah,
huh?
High Point. I had
12.
them. High Point gets the job done. Very good.
And you had them. Very good.
I did, yes. So, Slickster, how are you?
I'm good, Big D.
Very good. How's your first day going?
Busy. I'm right in the middle. Ohio State blew it for me.
I didn't see you on the first page.
Yeah, I didn't see you last year at number 11 either. But that's another story. And it's early. We got a lot of brackets to go, Big D. And I think Duke's a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay, very good. Delgado's going to do main headlines. Delgado, how are you? Your last day before vacation. You're gone for a week.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here.
Delgado's out of here. He wouldn't tell us where he's going. It's some secret top location.
Yeah, where are you going?
Making like a tree and getting the hell out of here.
Okay.
What?
Where am I in my bracket? I have no idea.
Area 51.
I didn't ask you that. I know. Yeah.
But you know what? Damon sucks.
No.
So
That's called jealousy there.
Let's hope he goes 0 and everything from here on
That's
out.
not going to happen. That's not going to happen. The two games that are going right now, I got both of those winners. So
he was squirming during that Duke game. The fact that the funniest part about this whole thing is he puts this text that I just read you into the group that he never responds to.
Yeah. Well,
never responds.
I thought it was an emergency.
It's all right.
Right. I thought it was. I'm like, Damon's texting something? Oh,
Vinnie Mac's in West Palm Beach. Vinnie Mac, how's your brackets going? How's your day so far?
I was just checking my brackets. I'm 10-0. So I'm feeling pretty good about the start. I don't really gamble, as you know. I don't put money on these things. But I did see on Delgado's Facebook, he's going to the Club Med at Staten Island. So I think he's going to have a really nice time. Very relaxing. It's supposed to be a wonderful place, Rick. So enjoy your vacation. Yeah. Make sure there are umbrellas in your drinks, because I know you like that.
They bring them right to you.
Of course.
All right, very good. So lots to do on a Thursday night. We'll get the news with everybody, sports with Slick. But right now, let's do tonight's first word. And for the first word, we sit here each and every night watching the liberals in action, and sometimes you have to think they've finally outdone themselves in the hypocrisy department. But then along comes Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York. Yes, New York, the one that's turning into a giant ATM machine for every social program under the sun. And then she drops a gem that is just pure distilled peak liberalism. She's up there at some fancy political summit, sounding like a desperate landlord whose best tenants just packed up and moved to Florida. She's talking about how she needs these high net worth individuals, the very people that left and have been, she's been demonizing for years, to fund her generous social program, she says. Yeah. Generous, she says, generous with other people's money, of course. And get this, she calls them, quote, patriotic millionaires if they just write her a check. Patriotic, but only after they've been hounded, taxed to within an inch of their lives, told they're not paying their fair share, that they're greedy, that they're hoarding wealth while the rest of us suffer. The same crowd that pushes tax the rich until the cows come home, until the rich actually do come home to Palm Beach or to Miami or to Texas or to anywhere with no state income tax and a governor who doesn't treat them like a captive ATM machine. Hochul's out there saying essentially tax the rich, squeeze them dry, milk them for every last penny to pay for our beautiful, expansive, compassionate government programs. And then when those rich folks do what any rational person would do, they vanish. Poof, they're gone. Tax base eroded, as she put it. The money dries up. The budget holes get bigger. The generous programs start looking a little less generous when there's no one left to pay for them. So what does she do? She doesn't say, you know what, maybe we overdid it here on the taxes. Maybe we should lower the rates, cut regulation, make New York attractive again. No. That would require admitting the progressive dream is really a nightmare. Instead, she turns to the very millionaires who stuck around, the patriotic ones who cut her checks, and says, hey, go back down there to Palm Beach and round up your old buddies and bring them back home. Tell them to come be patriots again. Our tax base has been eroded. Can you believe this? Tax them until they flee in droves, chase them out with pitchforks labeled fair share. And then when the state's broke because, surprise, surprise, the rich are mobile and they don't like being treated like piñatas, send the remaining loyal ones on a recruitment mission to Florida like it's some kind of socialist safari. Go fetch the escaped wealthy and bring them back so we can tax them to death again this time around. Look at New York right now. We've got this fresh proposal floating around from the folks at City Hall, pushed by Mondami, to slash the state estate tax exemption from over $7 million down to a measly $750,000. And while they're at it, they're going to crank the top rate from 16% all the way to 50%. They say it's to plug a $5.4 billion budget deficit. How'd that deficit magically appear? Did you ever wonder about that? Well, it's years of wild spending on every pet project under the sun. That's how. But no, let's not cut the waste. Let's raid the estates of people who actually took the years to build something. $750,000, by the way, in New York City buys you like a shoebox apartment with sky-high maintenance fees and a doorman who looks at you funny every time you walk in and out. So much for the only the rich. What this is straight-up middle-class wealth transfer, dressed up as social justice, of course. Families who scrimped and saved for a home or a small business, poof, half of it is going to go to Albany when mom and dad passes away. Critics are already sounding the alarm. Real estate's going to crater as people rush to sell before the government claims its pound of flesh. And then what? Migration straight to Tennessee, Florida, Texas, places that don't treat your success like a crime. It's the same old story. Punish productivity, watch the productive pack up and go. Property values tank, revenue collapses, the city's in deeper crisis. Who could have predicted that driving away wealth creators might leave you broke? Well, the pattern's timeless, folks, because the wealthy aren't oak trees rooted in place. They're mobile. They're mobile capital. When taxes turn punitive, they relocate. They defer income, or they just stop creating as much wealth. Revenue drops, jobs vanish, and guess who pays? You, us, the middle class, every single time. Politicians love yelling, tax the rich. It polls great on the campaign trail, but the rich vote with their feet and their private jets. Newsom, Hochul, Pritzker, all the other blue state Marxists, they're not stupid. They know exactly what's happening. When the high earners flee their blue states, where do they land? They land in red states. And then what happens? Too many of them keep voting for the same big government nonsense that drove them out. It's like cancer cells migrating to healthy tissue and starting to spread. They turn purple states blue, one relocated voter at a time. Confiscatory taxes have never worked. They won't work now. Every time the left tries it, we get the same punchline: shrinking tax base, plunging revenue, and for sale signs as far as the eye can see. So keep chanting tax the rich, Kathy Hochul. Just don't be surprised when the rich say, see ya, and the rest of us, of course, are left holding the tab. And that's tonight's first word. Vinnie Mac, West Palm Beach. I'll give you first crack. Did you see Hochul at this thing the other day?
I did. I was laughing at this because what's the first thing that anybody does, whether you're a politician or you're a homeowner or you're a business owner, when income doesn't pay the bills? When your revenue doesn't cover the costs of whatever it is you're doing, the first thing you do is you look around and you say, are we operating efficiently? Can we operate more efficiently? Do we need to cut costs on anything? What can we do to manage the situation better? But the first thing that these Democrats do, and Kathy Hochul did exactly this, was begging more rich people to come to New York who fled because of her policies and the mayor's policies to pay more taxes so they can pay for this stuff. So that's really what I got a big kick out of. It's like, how about stepping back before you start asking people to move back from Florida and bring their money back to New York? How about looking at how you're spending money in New York? Is there anything efficient? Is there waste? Is there fraud? How about those two big things that are going on all over the country right now? You would look at those things first before you ask someone to write a check. That's what I think about it.
Well, Vin, now
Thank you.
You're talking like a normal person. Yeah. Kathy Hochul is a liberal Democrat. Yep. Liberal Democrats don't believe in all that. They believe, well, you know what? Your money belongs to them. And if they want to spend it on other things for other people, because that's the most wasteful way to spend money, they're going to do it. I mean, this is what we're looking at is what happens when the other people money crowd runs out of other people's money, right? Because now it's like, well, now what do I do? We have these generous social programs we want to fund. Oh, well, maybe you can't fund them. Maybe you shouldn't have them. They refuse to do without because they figure you don't really deserve everything you've earned.
All right, right, live from Studio 6B. Just getting started on a Thursday night. We got news, we got sports. Vinnie Mac's got some news. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Farmer Brooke joins us at 8:30. He's running for town council out in Payson, Arizona. We'll talk to him as well. And, of course, we'll talk to you live in the chat. We'll be back right after this. Chat. What is going on in the chat? Brenda Givens on Facebook. Damon nailed it. Thank you. How are you? Welcome on in.
Yeah, it was a good one, Dave.
Kit Kat on X. Hello.
That was good. You really captured it. Very, very good. Although, the nerve of politicians asking for those kinds of things after they recklessly spend the money, to Delgado's point, which I thought was a good one, too.
Can we see LFS6B anywhere 25th through 27th because of CPAC programming by RAB? We don't know that it's going to affect us yet. Most of the CPAC stuff's done by the time we go on. That's why we're never there, because by 8 o'clock the place is usually empty. So I don't know it's going to affect us too much. It might, at least on the network, but we'll be on socials.
Chat live in the chat.
We'll definitely be on the app.
What? I know.
And Elizabeth on Facebook, spot on. Hello. Cats B, hello. Tumbleweed Farmer on X, hello. Missy Hoffman on Facebook, hello. Melody Lewis on Facebook, hello.
Howdy to the Rumblers. Rumble.
Danita,
I'm
Hank,
on Facebook
Michelle,
now.
Rubber Duck 01, Farmer Brooke.
Rubber Duck.
On the live from Studio 6B app. Hello to everybody in there as well on Rumble, Facebook, X, Kick, Twitch, wherever you're watching. Welcome on in.
J Buck, Coral Reef.
Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, follow, comment.
Panama Tom.
Engagement is what we need.
Plaque Runner. Never heard.
Plaque Runner. What is
Never
that?
heard of Plaque Runner before. That's a new one. I've not seen that one.
It's a periodontist.
Plaque Runner wants to know, when will you guys leave New York? Hopefully soon, man. Let's see. Don't laugh at McGroin is
I'm
back.
never leaving New York. This is my town.
Zetmom. Ordinary Passenger. Doc's Gal.
105 in Phoenix today. Holy Moses.
That's hot.
They wanted us to come to Phoenix, right? Last night they were.
That's like
29
Africa
this
hot.
morning here. 29. 29.
29.
Yes,
By the time I get there.
That's right. It
was chilly this morning. I was out early.
I was out early too.
I think it's going to warm up next week.
It is. And I don't care.
105. I'm shocked. Wow. It's March.
I know.
March, Delgado. Is that where you're going? Are you going to Phoenix?
No.
Ah.
I could go.
I thought it was Phoenix.
Where are you going?
Tell the people where you go.
So, 17 past the hour, live in Studio 6B. On a, don't worry about that, pal. Thursday night. Vinnie Mac is,
Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's good. Vinnie Mac is in West Palm Beach.
That's fun.
He's going to do some news. Delgado's going to do main headlines. Aaron and Fran holding it down on a Thursday night. Let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Of course, we all know what the lead sports story is tonight. I've already covered it at the opening of the show. And that, of course, is Big D being now 9-0. Although, to be fair, it looks like I'm going to drop my first game here tonight, as the one I went really out on a limb Well, they're down 14. VCU, I picked VCU over North Carolina.
North Carolina's smoking them right now.
Well, they're down 14. Yeah,
They got 11
we're
minutes
down
to
more.
go.
So
you got 11 minutes to go. They can go on a run.
But
Big D being a big
that one
D.
doesn't look good. So I'll be 10-1. But everything else looks good. So
I
that's
like
probably the
Michigan.
lead. I'm sure that's the lead sports story. Let's hear it from Slick.
Oh, yes.
What's going on?
There was 64 on the floor at 12:15, Big D, but no more. You took 10 down already. But here we go. Just what you said. North Carolina right now 61-47 over VCU. 11:30 to go there in the second half. End of the first half. At the half, 50-43 Michigan over Howard. I don't think Michigan's going to have a problem there. BYU and Texas in a good one. Texas right now 37-32 over BYU. 3:38 to go there in the first. Delgado says that BYU has the best player in college basketball, so they need to come back. St. Mary's right now trailing Texas A&M. Oh, the Raiders 28-22. 3:34 to go there in the first. Earlier today, TCU slight upset over Ohio State 66-64. Nebraska bombed Troy 76-47. Louisville 83-79 over South Florida. Good game there. Great game. High Point. Oh, man, the Purple Panthers, they did it. Unbelievable. They won 83-82 over Wisconsin. Came down to a last-minute buzzer shot from Wisconsin just inside midcourt. No can do. So shout out to our good friend who gave me this beautiful mascot panther here.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago on the show on a Friday night, young lady, I believe her name was Melissa, came in with her mom, who I believe his name was June, and they come to see the show at the warehouse, Big D. Yeah. And she says, I'm a freshman at High Point, and Slick Rick, I know you always wear the purple. We love the show, Mom. We watch the show, and could you, try to see if we can get them into the big dance? Did they get into the dance? Yes. Check. Did they win today? Check. Who knows, Big D? We don't know what's going to happen with this team. If they make a run, forget it. It's going to be unbelievable.
Did you pick them?
No, because I listened to you idiot. The idiot tells me, you can't go against Wisconsin. Here I am going to make a whole story here, and I have to be fully transparent, like an idiot. And I listen to him, and I can't blame him. It's my own choice, and I picked the Cheeseheads, and guess where that got me? Nowhere. And we have Duke, Big D. Big D was that was almost his first turd was Duke actually, because they barely got out of Dodge. They won 71-65. Siena went on a siesta for 6.5 minutes. I thought they were going to make the upset, which would have been unbelievable, right? That would have been the fourth time that a 16 beat a 1, but not to be. And I think Duke got the Duke scared out of them, and I think they're gonna make a good run now. Vanderbilt right now they took care of business over McNeese 78-68. No surprise there. Michigan State rolled North Dakota State 92-67. Arkansas, Big D, took care of Hawaii. Boy, those poor guys got to go back to paradise. 97-78 there. Penn, Illinois coming up at 9:25. St. Louis and Georgia, that'll be a 9:55 game. Good game there. Kennesaw State and Gonzaga. Rick, you like Gonzaga. 10 o'clock is that game. That's a tip-off there. And then the nightcap is at 10:10. Number 2, Houston, who a lot of people like as their Final Four, taking on the great state of Idaho, Rick. And that's going to be a good one there as well. So we'll see what happens, Big D. And that's kind of the run of the scoreboard. I mean, I do have the story about High Point stuns Wisconsin in the first upset of March Madness with a thrilling finish. Ryan Canfield of Fox News. March Madness has officially arrived. The number 12 seed High Point upset number 5 seed Wisconsin. The old famous 12 beating of 5. That's a known thing. Happens often. And, of course, I was too silly to pick it. I didn't pick it. But anyway, they did go on to win. High Point guard Chase Johnson, who was just an animal, scored the game-winning basket with 11 seconds on a breakaway layup after Wisconsin guard Nick Boyd missed a layup that would have put the Badgers up 84-81. High Point guard Rob Martin hauled in the rebound and fired down court to a streaking Johnson for the lay-in. And, the rest is history. We'll see what happens now. They got a big game coming up. I don't know about High Point getting past the next game, but we'll see what happens. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D.
All
Back
right,
to you. 5 to go.
Very good. 21 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Vinnie Mac is in the West Palm Beach studio, and he's got some news. What's going on, Vin?
Yeah, well, by the way, I had High Point, so I'm 11-0 now. So I appreciate that. I got the tip from Delgado to bet on Wisconsin, and I bet on High Point.
Oh,
so
Delgado,
I think I'm in the lead right now.
Reverse.
You know what?
Yeah.
You can't blame me because I thought your picks were already in.
Delgado.
He said, High Point has to play Wisconsin. I said, that's a tough draw. I wouldn't take Wisconsin. I wouldn't take High Point. Wisconsin's too good. They're a Big Ten team. They just shellacked Michigan a couple weeks ago. I didn't like the matchup. What did I know? I guess they looked past them thinking, who's High Point? And they got High Pointed themselves.
Watch them make a run, and that'll be a low point for me.
By the way, I'm in 5th place, Damon.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So
I did the George Costanza. I just went the opposite of what Delgado said, and I'm winning. I'm 11-0. But on a news standpoint, Markwayne Mullins, as we know, has been nominated by President Trump to be the new DHS secretary. And boy, do we need someone in charge now. We don't have a funded DHS right now, unfortunately, but we need someone in charge. So they go through committee, and I think a lot of us talked about the Rand Paul going back and forth. And of course, the Democrats, just doesn't matter who Trump nominates. They're just going to say no to whatever it is that Trump does or who he nominates or any of his picks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the one guy, once again, that broke the 7-7 tie is John Fetterman. Who would have thought, after we watched this guy run and beat Dr. Oz for the seat, and how kind of out of touch he was in a sense, because he is recovering from a stroke at that time. And I know I was not that impressed at all. And I wanted Dr. Oz to win, but I'm thinking, I don't know if Dr. Oz could have done a better job than John Fetterman is for just being fair and for the country. And he made the deciding vote. And it's good to see that there's one Democrat. I don't know. Can you guys name any other Democrat that's voted on anything fairly since Trump got in office? Just one. This guy Fetterman is the only one that actually is making a statement in just fairness. And he uses the term Trump derangement syndrome pretty easily, too, because he's like, my party's just consumed with it. And it's pretty amazing to hear him speak. So now it goes to vote. Hopefully he wins the nomination. But the point is, here we are with terrorism picking up, the Iran war happening, an unfunded DHS, and we have no secretary. You would think these guys would have a sense of urgency to pass through, I don't want to say just about anyone, but the president's pick. Just get them through quick so we can have someone in charge and protect our citizens. So hopefully this vote in the Senate goes smoothly, but I'm expecting a 51-49, something like that. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
What did you think of his exchange with Rand Paul? We played yesterday on the show, and his whole demeanor.
He's a emotional guy, very direct, can be a bit animated, and I thought he handled himself pretty good. Rand was poking the bear there quite a bit, and he stayed calm, at least in his own way. He was calm and thoughtful, and what'd you guys think?
Yeah, he didn't say he wanted to punch him in the face, so.
Yeah, well, that's a step forward for him.
Yeah.
Hey, and Rand might have deserved a punch in the face there, too, by the way.
Well, Rand Paul obviously has a personal grudge because of what he said about him when Rand Paul got attacked by his neighbor. So that was the whole. That was the whole.
I didn't agree with that.
So, but yeah, to your point on Fetterman. Fetterman at least is not. He doesn't seem like a completely 100% controlled drone for the other side. He's certainly, and he's no centrist, obviously, but he certainly at least is somewhat of a free thinker. Certainly has been on when it comes to supporting Israel and other things like that, where he has clearly spoken out against his party, which why I assume he'll be target number one of his own party to take out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and center-like things like girls and boys sports and stuff like that. He's been right down the middle. So, seems like a
common sense. They're not even partisan things. This is common sense.
Yeah,
for God's sakes.
26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Headline news with Rick Delgado coming up right after this.
Hey, before we get too deep in the socials here, I just wanted to make a comment. Rob Jackson, we know he's been a long time viewer of the show, real big supporter of the show, and his son Connor, who we've talked about a few times in the past, well, he just graduated and has now become the deputy sheriff in his town. I want to congratulate Connor on putting his life right in the right place here, and that is giving back to society and keeping people safe. So
awesome.
Well done, Connor.
Great.
Congratulations. And if you have any PBA cards, send them our way.
Yeah, Delgado could use them. Get out of jail free cards.
Sir, do you know why I'm
thinking about parking tickets.
I got an epic card to get out of this stuff, but man. I don't want to use it.
I know Rob's real proud. I've seen a bunch of his Facebook postings, and there are videos of him, graduating and stuff. So I know he's a super proud papa out there. So well done.
Very cool. Euro transplant in the Rubber Rat. Joe and Junior, J-Buck. Hot Dog. Hassan Pfeffer.
I can't believe Ohio State lost today. I can't believe it.
I can't believe that either.
Well,
I can't believe they
pick
lost to
them.
the Horned Frogs.
Frederick Leathers.
Damn it.
I picked the Horned Frogs. Sorry.
Louisville with a nice win. The 8s and 9s were very hard to pick. They were really what toss-ups, the 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
I don't usually bet on this stuff.
Imagine if Long Island beats Arizona. You can't.
What?
If Arizona lost to Long Island.
Oh, I punched myself in the face. What are you kidding me?
What? I'll take the check, please.
You picked Tennessee, Rick?
Yes, but only for like 2.
Yeah, just
they've been so up and down. I'm actually surprised that Kentucky was ranked ahead of them. I mean, below them. Because Kentucky beat them twice.
You have to watch Iowa State. They may make it. They may make
Iowa
some noise.
State's a tough team.
They may make some noise.
And we love Iowa, don't we?
The great state of Iowa. We love Iowa.
Both Iowa and
hardworking men and women.
I think I have them both going pretty deep. Because we love Iowa.
We love them.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Slick Rick's going to do some sports. Delgado's got main headlines. Vinnie Max in West Palm Beach. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Of course, you guys in the chat. Always good to talk to you during the breaks. Make sure you follow us on all the social media at LFS6B. Hit the like, subscribe, comment, get involved in the social media. We want the engagement there. And, of course, Real America's Voice at Real AM Voice. Make sure you follow them everywhere as well. Please welcome right now, he's running for governor of New York State, Bruce. No. Bruce Blakeman didn't have time to be here, so Bruce is not here. He's too busy.
Oh, my God.
I tried.
We need Bruce Blakeman.
So,
we need him now, Damon. What are you dissing him for?
I don't know. Hochul seems okay to me. Anyways, please welcome to the show, running for town council instead of Bruce Blakeman, we have somebody probably more important to the show, if we're being honest. Running for town council in Payson, Arizona. That would be one Brooke Myers, otherwise known as Farmer Brooke. And there he is. Farmer, welcome back to the show.
I will not tell a lie. What is up, fellas?
Not much. It's good to have you here. Now, we're not picking games anymore, so this is a formal appearance, someone running for office, so keep that in mind. But let me just start on sports for just a second. I don't know if you've heard, but I'm in the lead.
Oh my goodness. God.
I'm number one.
He's about to have a loss, though.
I don't know if you've heard, in the March Madness bracket. Did you fill out a bracket?
I did, and I think it's rigged.
And where? What number? I'm number one. That's like one digit. What number are you?
Last I looked, I was
President Trump.
You're what?
But I did take. I was 6.
Oh.
But I did take Virginia Commonwealth too. So
you're going to be a loser with Damon on that one.
That's a good pick. You got to go out on a limb if you're going to make hay in these things. You got to pick some underdogs. So
You do.
All right, let's get serious here. Are you anywhere in the Epstein files?
Not lately.
Okay.
I haven't looked. But my opponents have not brought it up yet, so let's not talk about it. Let's keep that just between us. Okay?
All right. So let's be serious now. Why did you want to run? Why did you want to run for town council? Tell us maybe a little bit about where you live and the community and why you wanted to do this.
So we moved to Payson, Arizona about 7 years ago. We're about 5,000 feet of elevation, so it's not hot like Phoenix, although it is 95 today, which is crazy. But when I got here, I didn't care about the local town politics or anything. They started throwing around, we had an emergency clause, and they just ran the budget up. They went from 60 million to almost 100 million, under an emergency. They tried to ram down a $80 million bond to put in a $50 million Taj Mahal, is what I called it. I've been to many council meetings, and there's just, it's just frustrating. It's like banging your head against the wall. I never thought I would be a politician, but it turns out I'm going to be, and I just want to help Payson. We have the 5th highest, I believe, sales tax in the state, which they raised 1% willy-nilly, didn't go to the public or anything. They said that it was the emergency clause to do that. So it's just out of control. And you know what? Somebody's got to stand up. I met Charlie Kirk a few times. I got a picture with him, and he was actually, to be honest, my inspiration. It's like, if I don't do this now, when will I do it? And so, you know what? I'm gonna start here, and who knows? Maybe I'll run for governor of New York someday.
Oh,
okay, very good.
Okay,
I'll take it.
So obviously, spending is obviously one of the issues. What are the other issues that in Payson that you're dealing with, and is it lean more? I don't know the area at all. Is it lean more red? Is it more blue? Tell us a little bit about the makeup.
It's way red, but you wouldn't know that with the craziness that's gone on. We have projects. As a former project manager and consultant, the mantra here has always been, let's do a study. We'll hire a consultant. And they spend millions of dollars on a study and a consultant, and the project sits on the shelf and nothing ever gets done. So they've wasted millions of dollars. And actually, the town is in a better place now, I should say. They hired a new town manager about, I think it's been 4 months, who actually knows how to be a town manager. And is starting to get things done. They hired their first project manager, which I volunteered my services in the past, and they were like, project manager, why do we need that? We have consultants. And so things are working in a good direction. We're only 16,500 people here, and, we need affordable housing. We need to reduce the sales tax that they raised. We have a lot of fixed income people here, a lot of seniors, and it's just craziness. But you know what? It's a microcosm of our national government, and as you probably have heard, our Arizona state government is a mess as well. And you know what? We're just a microcosm of all of that, because I feel like a lot of people do not get involved in politics until your sales tax goes up or your property taxes get raised, and then people go, what's going on? And then they start looking into things, and we've let this happen. We've let the country get to where it is now. We've had comfortable lives. We've been, raising families and raising kids, and look at where it's gotten us. So hopefully people will start to get involved, and it starts with the local town politics, and that's why I'm there.
Slick knows that better than anybody, right?
Just in the middle of it. Yeah, I was just there about an hour ago. I was at a big fundraiser for our local councilman in the town of Brookhaven. Great GOP guy, love him. He's going into his 12th year, so he's a seasoned veteran, if you will. County executive was there, and these guys work very hard. The council and the counties are the hardest working people in government, from my perspective, for the community, for the business community, the local business community.
And they affect them the most too.
Absolutely.
Most of the time.
Absolutely.
So, Farmer, I just looked up some of the races out there. For mayor, you have an incumbent, this mayor, Steve Otto, and I guess you have somebody, Brett Flattery, that's running against him. Does that sound about right? What do we think of that race?
Brett Flaherty. Steve is a good guy. Steve has shown up. He better than any other mayor. He shows up at every event. Sounds like a lot like Slick. He's there getting his picture in the paper. Nobody has ever done that before, and so he's involved. He wants what's best for the town, and he's a great guy. Believe it or not, I probably shouldn't say this, but I had lunch with Brett Flaherty today. He's a local dentist in town. He is a council member, and he's going to run against Steve, and he just threw his hat in the ring. Steve was running unopposed, and I think somebody told Brett, "Hey, you need to get into this election."
Yeah, that race is going to be tooth and nail.
It is, absolutely. Yeah. So we're on Mayor Otto's side for sure.
Okay. Now, you're running for town council. Now, are there a certain number of seats that are up? Is it one seat? How many people running for? Tell us a little bit about the makeup of the race.
Exactly. So the mayor's position is only a 2-year term. The council is 4. We have 3 council seats that are open. Flaherty is running for mayor. Oh, that's a great picture. Flaherty is running for mayor, and we have another person that's stepping down. And then one guy, the incumbent, the guy on here, Jim Ferris, is an incumbent, and his term is up. So we really need Steve to get back in, and we need us 3 to have a majority to get something done, because the guys that are in there now are banging their head against the wall. It's 4 against 3, and it's gridlock. It's really sad, to be honest. They can't do anything. I was talking to the guy today, and they won't do anything. It's gridlock, and it's terrible. And I told him today, we see that. I go to all the council meetings. We see that you sit there and, are just disengaged, and it's terrible. It's not a good look. You're there for the people of the town, and it's frustrating.
Anybody else, guys, on the show? Vin, you got a question for Farmer Delgado? You got one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's talking about the other guy there being disengaged. How would you pitch yourself to the voters and show them how engaged you're going to be, Farmer Brook? That's what people want to know.
Yeah.
Well, what I've been telling, and I'm going. You can ask Farmer Ann. She never sees me anymore because I'm out. I'm stumping. I'm going and speaking. First thing, I'm a retired project manager. What I used to do was herd cats, and I think that my experience. And I worked for the city of Phoenix actually too, so I have bureaucratic experience and cat herding experience, and I think that will help the town. Plus, as you guys well know, I'm brilliant. They need to come to me for everything. I have all the answers.
Yeah, Vinny Mac?
I have all the answers.
I think that Farmer Brook's doing the toughest thing that anybody could do. And I say this all the time for entrepreneurs and anyone who wants to put themselves out there and take charge and challenge the system. He's put himself out there, and he's running, and he's a citizen just like us. I mean, this is really what is the only way we're going to get this country back on track and fix things properly, is we're not putting regular, lifelong politicians in office running for absolutely everything. So guys like Farmer Brook, guys like us, people like that are in our audience all over the country, we need to step up and do it. And I remember hearing some young people making fun of an entrepreneur who had a business. And I said, I don't know why you're making fun of these guys. Yeah, they're a little crazy, but they went and did something. They went and opened up a store. In this case, it was a retail chain. I'm like, they opened a store. Then they opened a second one. They went and did something. What have you done? Don't complain. Do something about it. That's what Farmer Brook's doing. So I get it, man. Kudos to you, and wishing you the best of luck.
All right, Farmer.
Thank you.
What can we tell the audience? What's the most helpful thing that this audience, who loves you, of course, can do for you right now, and people who are in Arizona listening, and maybe even in your area specifically? What's the most help we can give you?
Campaign funds.
Actually, if you want to throw a couple shekels my way, PaysonAdvisoryGroup.com. You could do that. Or, you know what? Just every night in the chat, it's great. You guys pump me up. And I feel the love. I appreciate it. And I keep telling everyone, I just want to make a difference. I want to make Payson better. I want the gridlock to go away. I want us to accomplish something, do some smart projects, get something done for the people, and spend our money wisely. They've just thrown so much money away. It's very disheartening, and it's terrible.
All right, Farmer Brook running for town council, Payson, Arizona. If you're out there and you're listening, you can donate. Give it one more time. Where can they go to donate to your campaign?
PaysonAdvisoryGroup.com. Thank you. Love you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you in the chat.
All right, Farmer Brook, we salute you for what you're doing. All right, we're back. Live from Studio 6B right after this.
ECU cuts it to 5.
Is he still there, Farmer Brook? No, he hung up.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah.
I had a question about the. Hey, Farmer, you talked about getting things done. How did they get this disc golf course set up?
Actually, that's a new thing. They had I think 9 holes, and there's a grand opening. I think maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
They did a 18-hole course. I mean, we're surrounded by mountains. They're doing mountain bike trails, like 400 miles of mountain bike trails.
Like that.
We need to get people here and spend their money to help the town, because we got to lower the sales tax. So the more people we get here, the better.
Do you have potholes there?
Don't get me started. Real quick, we had a town engineer. Everything the guy touched has had to be redone.
Oh.
I went and railed against. They wanted to do 10 new bus stops, which they get one rider a day on the frickin' bus. It pisses me off. But they wanted to put these 10 bus stops in for $9 million, and they only did 4 because 3 of them had to be redone. It's just a shit show. I'm disgusted by the.
Now, is that a political term, shit show?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, indeed it is. Indeed it is.
Just checking.
Yeah, I don't think it's it's only Payson where that's a.
You should put that on a bumper sticker. I'm gonna fix this shithole. This
yes,
shit show.
Let's stop the shit show.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Farmer, great job.
It's fun. All right, love you guys. You know that.
Good luck.
I'll see ya.
Thank you
All
to
right.
Ticked Off Patriot, $5 super chat in the YouTubes, Big D. Thank you very much, Ticked Off Patriot. We love and XJSCV in the YouTube. Farmer Brook, best of luck from what I know of Arizona politics. Can I request a ballot here in Las Vegas?
How you doing?
How you doing?
See, Damon, I was up to date on the local news and the happenings in Payson about the disc.
Yeah, you were, boy.
Golf center.
You were
just
very
opened.
impressive.
Man, it's impressive what you could do with Google.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's see if I had
You're a
seen this
global leader.
before. I don't know. Damon, you obviously have been drinking. Duke ain't winning it at all, big fella.
Oh.
That's from Farmer Brook in the chat.
Them
Oh,
fighting
wow.
words.
Good thing I didn't see that before.
Wow.
You may not have taken his call.
Would have cut the interview about to a minute.
I'm betting on the Villages Pickleball Championships tonight, too. I don't know who's going to win. I think Frank Johnson.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Glad you're in. Slickster is going to do some sports. Delgado's got main headlines. Vinnie Mac in West Palm Beach going to do some more news. Farmer Brook joins us for the last segment. We do salute what he's doing. I think Vinny laid it out great. I mean, that's to put yourself out there. You want to do better for your people, your community. I think it's great, and I hope he wins. And if there's anything we can do to help him, we will. So
and that's not easy.
And he was making a point of people sitting back and having their lives, and then waking up one day going, how did this get so bad? And that's the problem. I think Slick's been at this 25 years. He's been in local politics. 27. But I mean, the sooner you get involved, instead of waiting for it to happen. Step up. If your town or your council is looking pretty good right now and you want to make sure it stays that way, get involved now to make sure it stays that way, as opposed to sitting back and all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's like, hey, what happened? How did all those taxes get there? You know what I mean? So maybe that's the winning formula.
Wow, Slick, 27 years. So on the 27th year, I hear they give you a blue hat. Is that true?
And a bowl of soup with that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, kudos to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Long run. I don't talk about it much.
Let's do some main headlines. Rick Delgado's got them. We're way behind, so let's try to catch up a little. What's going on, Delgado?
All right, Damon. Well, a big update as to what is going on overseas, of course, with the war in Iran. And we were talking about this yesterday. What a surprise. Looky, who wants a cookie? That would be the people in Europe, as Britain, the Euros, and even Japan announced readiness to contribute appropriate efforts, they say, in the Straits of Hormuz. It turns out the UK, France, Germany, Italy, the places that need the oil that comes through the strait, have made an international call to get involved in the Gulf as they announce joint efforts to reopen the Straits of Hormuz, and they are in a preparatory planning stage. Coalition of those Western nations have expressed their readiness and willingness to contribute in the appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait, while the joint statement from the government of the UK, France, Germany, the Netherlands, and Japan is couched within the least committal language possible. It is a notable change of direction after a week of the leaders of those same nations rebuffing calls from the U.S. to rally around the flag and ensure freedom and navigation of one of the world's most strategic and contested waterways. And again, this comes after, President Trump basically laid out there, hey, if you guys don't want to help, that's okay, but don't expect anything to come through your way. And I think they started to see the writing on the wall about, how it's going to affect them personally and their countries. So it was interesting that they decided to now make that change. Also, Scott Bessent was out talking about some of the things he's seeing or some of the intelligence they're seeing in terms of defections. Here he is, cut number one, talking about that, what's going on in Iran because of the U.S.-led effort to make sure that the regime there is non-living. Cut number one, check this out.
So we are seeing the defections at all levels as they're starting to sense what's going on with the regime. It doesn't get reported here in the U.S. very well, but we are trouncing them from the air, and the regime will probably collapse within itself. At Treasury, we've seen where they've wired their money out of the country. We're coming for that. We're going to get it back to the Iranian people.
Mr. You're saying defections?
Israel.
There's a lot of military defections also. You have a lot of military defections in Iran. I don't blame them.
Yeah, and he's talking more about the regular army as opposed to the Iranian Republican Guard, which is very entrenched and very ideologically driven. President Trump also took some more questions. He was there meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister. Here's cut number two, when asked about using troops on the ground and his assessment of what's going on. Cut number two from President Trump today. Check this out.
Do you intend to lift sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you, but I'm not putting troops. But we're doing this excursion, and when it's completed, we're going to have a much safer world. And the Prime Minister agrees with me on this. He considers it to be terrible what Iran did. I think every country does, just about every country does. Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. I think virtually every country agrees with me on that.
Yeah, so there is President Trump talking about that. He was also asked about Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli attacks on the Iranian energy infrastructure. Here's what President Trump had to say about Israel hitting Iran's energy infrastructure. Cut number three, President Trump.
You talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu about attacking the oil and gas fields.
Yeah, I did. I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. We do. We're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, so there he is talking about his discussion with Benjamin Netanyahu over
Of course,
that.
we've talked about how coordinated they've been for a long, long time, and everybody says, no, they're not. No.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
One side little funny story. I don't know what you think about this real quick. Iran is going to seek compensation from the UAE. They're looking for reparations. I don't know where they think they're going to get this from. According to this, Iran's going to demand compensation from the UAE, the UAE that they keep lobbing missiles at for damage caused by the U.S. strikes launched from the UAE territory. Iranian permanent representative to the UN said that the Iranian envoy wrote a letter to the UN Secretary General, and they're asking for the UAE's behavior at the international level, and they said it warrants legal action and that they would like to be compensated, including payment for any damage, and who knows what. I don't know. Maybe they got PTSD from, deciding they're going to attack everybody in the region and nobody coming to their defense. Lastly, the high point. See what I did there, Slick?
I saw
the high point of the meeting today with President Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister. I don't know if you've probably seen this, but here is President Trump being asked by a Japanese reporter why he didn't alert allies as to what the U.S. was going to do. You couldn't love him anymore for being as honest as he is. Cut number 4, check this out.
U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran. So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. When we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? He's asking me. Now, you believe in surprise, I think, much more so than us. And we had a surprise, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise.
Yeah.
I wonder if does the Prime Minister understand English, or does she have an interpreter in her ear? Because she looked like she may have understood the two worlds.
I thought she understood.
She understood that. She looked like she was what do you call it? The baby version of.
That could be a great type of diplomacy.
That might be one of his greatest moments ever.
I know.
That is classic.
So there he is.
It's like
nuking
round of
Japan
sake,
one more
please.
time.
If we could zoom in on her face through some of that as she looked at that reporter as he was answering, I wonder if she was getting to the second translation or if she understood him, because that did not look like she was exactly clear on what he was saying, but she just heard Pearl Harbor.
She heard Pearl Harbor. Like, oh my God.
We got a barn burner here.
Oh, man. All right, live from Studio 6B. Wow, that's hour 1 already. Hour 2 coming back.
It's a free throw.
I'm destined for the perfect bracket.
If he misses this one here and they hit a 3, man, it's be one of the biggest upsets of the weekend.
That the pickleball championship?
I mean, VCU's been there before. I don't know if this is a huge upset if you've watched North Carolina this year. I mean, I still think they're going to pull it out, North Carolina here, but
They have the ball. Yes.
How'd they give him the ball?
Because he knocked it out.
Oh.
Yeah, the replay, you could see it. Pretty close.
That's got to be 5. Yeah, that's 5.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. How do you do that?
Oh, my goodness. How do you turn that over?
Throw it in the backcourt. I mean, throw it.
God, I can almost count it to 6.
Could have just banged it off the guy who wasn't paying attention.
Exactly.
North Carolina's done this seriously all year.
They have let
all year.
3 coaches
They've choked or not shown up in games all year.
This door wide open.
Well, they beat Duke earlier.
And this kid hit it, and they hit it.
That looked like a double dribble.
They're running the picket fence.
It is. He's in. He got it.
That ties the game. 11 seconds.
Oh my God! Watch this now. I call timeout here. You got to call timeout. No, of course. You're not gonna make a shot there. Wow, Big D. Look at this. They don't make this shot, you're going to OT probably.
Well, yeah.
Oh, 8.1.
We are. The game is tied.
Oh, you mean they just don't finish tied?
We're going OT.
No, they don't make the shot. They're going OT. No, well,
it's a new rule.
It depends when they take the shot. They could have 2. They could have 2 seconds. The guy could hurl it, man. We've seen Duke do that.
While you guys are watching that, there's a viewer on our Facebook, Elaine Emmerich. I don't know if you guys have seen Elaine Emmerich in there, but she just noted that her 18-year-old grandson received the Medal of Valor last week as a first responder to an explosion in Clairton Mill last summer. I don't know if you remember that mill that blew up. He was a first responder there and received a Medal of Valor. So, Elaine, congratulations.
That's a great honor.
18-year-old grandson. He's a hero.
Congratulations. That is incredible. That Medal of Valor, that's a serious one. Oof.
That's the big one.
Wow. Good for
Vanderbilt won.
Yeah, Vandy won. Beat McNeese.
Arkansas won.
Trump is just priceless. I mean...
Get ready, America. March 25th through 28th, CPAC USA 2026 takes over the Lone Star State. And Real America's Voice brings you wall-to-wall coverage, live shows from the convention floor, exclusive interviews, powerful panels, and live music and entertainment. All from the massive Real America's Voice stage. Hear from Rav's own Steve Bannon.
The only way we don't have victory if we surrender. And we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit.
And Jack Posobiec live.
Freedom is a responsibility that we must uphold every single day of our lives.
Plus Dr. Gina.
We always came together because we know what we're fighting for.
Rob Schneider and Alex Stein bring the laughs with stand-up comedy. And the music lineup features Natasha Owens, Deepak, Celeste Kellogg, and more. CPAC USA 2026, only on Real America's Voice. Presented by Patriot Mobile, Birch Gold Group, and Trump Tumbler.
Big D, double dizzle, and the 6B brizzle live on Real America's Voice Vizzle, baby.
All right, hour 2, live from Studio 6B, 9 o'clock on the East Coast, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's doing main headlines. Vinnie Mac's going to do some more news. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Of course, you in the chat, wherever you're watching on social media. Of course, listening on 103.9 LI News Radio, watching on Real America's Voice all over the world, all across the country. Glad you're in. Follow us on our social media at LFS6B or go to livefromstudio6b.com. You can download the app in the Apple or Android store for both Real America's Voice and for this show, Live from Studio 6B. Lots to do in hour 2, and we'll start back up with Rick Delgado with main headlines. And, well, what's CNN having to admit these days?
Well, it turns out, Damon, there's a bunch going on over at CNN as they seem to be coming to the realization that things aren't as rosy as they always thought they would be. Turns out they are now admitting to some of the things about the Save America Act that Democrats have been opposing this entire time. As the Save America Act continues to be debated in the Senate, CNN admits that this is about the Democrats' opposition to the Save America Act and nothing more. This is quite an admission considering what is going on. Democrats oppose the common sense legislation that would require new voters to prove their citizenship when they register and require voter ID at the polls. Democrats have falsely claimed for a while that people, especially women and minorities, just don't know how to get an ID, Damon, or prove their citizenship because it's just too hard for them to get their hands on a birth certificate or marriage license, but it's not. Even Jake Tapper now is noting that the Democrats have an issue with voter ID in general, which is not good for Democrats. Here he is talking about it. Cut number 5 from Jake Tapper on CNN. Here it is, cut 5. Check this out.
Here's what the bill actually says would be acceptable proof of citizenship for voting under this law. A real ID card, a valid U.S. passport, an official U.S. military ID card along with a record of service showing a U.S. birthplace, a government-issued photo ID card showing a U.S. birthplace, or paired with a birth certificate, an adoption decree, report of birth abroad, naturalization certificate, or American Indian card. I understand this bill includes a lot more than just the documentation requirements, but a lot of Americans might hear that list and think that's a lot of options and wonder, do Democrats have an issue with voter ID in general or just this specific voter ID bill?
Yeah, turns out they just have an issue because they know voter ID.
That's what I said yesterday, right? When Schumer said something similar to this. Well, we don't oppose voter. Oh, well, maybe we should put the bill on just with that.
Because voter ID eliminates fraud. And that's why they're opposed.
Well, but yesterday you said no, because you said, well, they just give out licenses, so what's the difference?
Well, in certain states, like New York State, which has handed out licenses to illegals, that would be a problem. But if you're saying you've got to prove your citizenship to vote, that's a different hurdle to jump over, which is the way it should be. I mean, the way some of these states have to quote Farmer Brook, willy-nilly things is just disgusting from an American point of view. Because let's face it, that means it dilutes the real votes of the real citizens.
John Husted on the floor of the Senate today to this exact point. You talk about your devices listening to what you're saying. This just popped up in my feed. Listen to this.
Madam President, showing a photo ID is common sense. The American people support it by an 80-20 margin. And as I've been saying for more than a decade and a half, it is possible to make it both easy to vote and hard to cheat, and we should make that a national standard with a photo ID law that is easy to implement and is proven effective. Passing voter ID requirements is common sense, and passing this provision that I offer tonight, that is part of the Save America Act, is right for election integrity, and it's the right thing to do for voter confidence, and I urge a yes vote.
I want to thank my friend and distinguished colleague, the senator from Ohio, for his observations, for his insights on this. This is one of many true talents we have in the Senate. He's particularly well qualified in this area, given his experience in the state of Ohio, with mastering the election laws of that state and the federal election laws that overlap with state election laws. I'm not sure there's anyone in the Senate currently or who has ever served here who has a greater knowledge of these laws and the way that they intersect. For the same reasons articulated by the senator from Ohio, I think this is an exceptionally good idea. It's not every bill where it makes sense to separate out a provision, try to pass that provision on its own, separate from the rest of the text of the bill. But this is one of those instances where it makes sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Neither I nor the senator from Ohio are suggesting that we still don't need the rest of the Save America Act. That's not our point. The point is that these are separately divisible, such that they could be enacted separately. And insofar as there is a greater degree of consensus with regard to the voter ID component of the Save America Act than there are with regard to the citizenship components, it makes sense for us to get this done now. Let's pass it. Let's pass it right now. Let's pass it by unanimous consent. Let's make this law, and then we can proceed back to deal with the rest of the issues within the Save America Act. This is what progress looks like. This is what consensus building looks like. And I thank my friend and colleague from Ohio for raising this. Look, no matter how you feel about the rest of the provisions of the bill, it's not too much. to ask somebody to just show who they are when they show up on voting day. That provision is very simple. Let's get this passed. Let's get it done right now.
Madam President.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then maybe a new strategy showing itself here from the GOP in the Senate.
You know what?
Chuck Schumer keeps yapping his mouth how they support it. Maybe we should just take this part out and let's vote on voter ID and pass it. And then we can go back to the rest. Not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
If you like it, Chuck, step up.
And that's one of the things they talked about. I've heard people talk about when they start, doing these arguments on the floor and talking this out. Things like this will pop up and ideas will come from it, and they'll be able to find something where they can find common ground and also hopefully embarrass the Democrats into making sure that they do this because that's what the American people want, and it'll stop all forms of voter fraud.
Yeah. Well, 5 minutes later, they took the vote and the Democrats blocked it.
Of course they
update.
did.
Yeah. All right, what else is going? Actually, that's what you had, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, very good. We'll do some more news with Rick Delgado. Vinnie Mac's got some news as well. Vinnie Mac, what's going on?
Well, something very interesting is happening in the world, and Delgado touched on it a little with his report prior to the one he just made here, with Italy and a few other countries now trying to help us with the, the shipping lanes and everything coming out of Iran. Where are our allies? Where are they? Have we heard from our allies? No, we've only heard a lot of no's throughout this process, a lot of disses, a lot of we don't want to get involved, a lot of all of these things. And then something funny happened on the way to the park here, folks. The Arab countries, 12 of them, have all come out and dissed Iran on the reckless attacks they've made, by the way, on civilians and on their lifeblood, which are oil and anything else. So they're attacking civilian targets and so on in 12 Arab countries. And I want to look at this list here for a second. I got it in front of me. And you wouldn't believe some of these countries because they just simply wouldn't support just about anything that we do. But you've got Pakistan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, Bahrain, Azerbaijan, Qatar, Syria, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates. They all came out. Their foreign ministers and others came out against Iran for this recklessness. Now, I don't think this has ever happened in the history of conflict in the Middle East regarding these countries coming together while our allies remain either silent or dissing us. And it's just a shocking turn of events. And it's quite telling because I believe what the Middle East is seeing now, from the Abraham Accords to the amount of destruction the Israelis did to Hamas and taking them out, to what's going on in Iran right now, they're seeing a full reset into their region and probably a real era of prosperity in their region and more assimilation into the West in a sense. So I think they're seeing really good things that can happen from all of this and not being held back with this ideology and theological ideology and the radicalness all around it. Because it's not, I don't remember in the past countries being willing to diss Iran, being willing to say anything. They would have just remained silent. And the irony of it is our own allies are talking against us, or at least not supporting us. And these 12 countries come out and say what they said against Iran, which is sort of a wink and a nod about we're with you, United States. Otherwise, they would say nothing. So I just thought the irony here was amazing. And it does go to show you this strategy has something to it. There's a lot of meat on the bones here in terms of global strategy, which I've been talking about for a long time, and how I see this reset going on with the Middle East, how I see the reset going on with Russia and China, and how I see a major global reset with Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, and so on. All of this happening, and the Middle East being probably the first major shift that we're seeing in the world. It's just amazing to me to see them speak out in favor, at least, of what we're doing and against the other Arab countries. So not sure what you guys think about that, but I thought it was quite remarkable when our own allies say nothing or diss us. Pretty telling.
You know, if you listen to people who know this area of the world speak over the last 5 years, and I've talked about this on the show, a lot of them talk about how, yeah, you're right. Like a lot of them wouldn't say anything, but were more than happy to lay their head on the pillow at night knowing that Israel was doing the dirty work against Iran that they wanted to do, that they wouldn't come out and talk about it, but they were more than happy to have Israel continue to do the dirty work when they would go up against Iran. But obviously, like you said, they could never talk about it. I've heard more than one or two people who know this part of the world very well say that. So I guess the surprise is now they're outwardly saying it, but they've certainly felt it for a very long time.
Yeah, and you couple that with the fact that President Trump has laid the groundwork for this. He started this in his first administration. You know, doing with the Abraham Accords and all this stuff, moving these pieces into place. So something like this, if it were to come down, he's built the foundation of a strong coalition.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some more headlines, do some more sports with Sick, get caught up on what's going on in the March Madness.
Look out.
We get back right after this.
ECU threw it to North Carolina by mistake, and the kid almost hit it right at the end. He picked it off and went down the court and shot it. Yeah, they do. 105.
Stop that.
Short.
Clank.
North Carolina's going to win this game now.
Yeah, I think they are too.
If they don't, Hubie's going to be looking for a new job.
He's going to be looking.
Texas is bombing BYU. Texas is absolutely. Look at the Texas BYU
Oh my
score.
goodness,
13 points.
I got Texas. They're down.
No, they're up.
They're up.
Oh, they're up. Okay, good.
I think I picked BYU. I got to pick 6.
I think I had Texas. Yes, I have Texas.
Take AJ the Beast.
So what am I in danger of here? I have Michigan. They're up 23. That's
that
in the bag.
Michigan's going to make
this
it.
VCU.
I got Michigan.
What do I? Oh no, I'm dead in St. Mary's. They're down 20.
St. Mary's is getting buried.
Yeah.
I had that game. I took Texas A&M.
St. Mary's is.
I think I took Texas A&M.
Texas A&M has been up.
I got
and down.
Pepperdine.
One night they
St.
can win by
Mary's
30,
is
next day
lost.
they can lose. That's been the most inconsistent team in the NCAA.
All right, so St. Mary's is going to be a loss for sure. Texas will be a win. The other game will be a win. So I should be 11 or 12-1 after the first day.
That's some.
Well, it could be 2 if
we have 3 more games.
If VCU doesn't pull it out. That'll be my second lose.
Yeah, Houston. You got to take.
Did you take?
Yeah,
Houston?
yeah, I got Houston.
They're a lock.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, Slick, you just cursed him. Why would you say that?
Houston's a lock. Come on.
Why would he?
They play in the great state of Idaho. Gonzaga and Kennesaw State. And Georgia and St. Louis. What do you think about that one? That's a tough game.
What?
Georgia
and St. Louis.
I don't have
I think,
reads.
happy birthday to Gary Paul
Hey,
O'Rourke.
thanks.
Happy
That's what I
birthday.
think.
Thanks,
Happy
Vin.
birthday. A big 7-0.
Vin, you have your keyboard there?
I
Hey,
do.
Vin,
What do you want to hear?
Are you wearing a what are those?
Oh, Vin's all in. He's got
a life preserver. What are you wearing?
Look at that. That's a nice vest. That's
it's a vest.
Yeah.
You're wearing a life preserver.
It's actually a little cool here.
What am I
folks,
doing
just so
here,
you know.
guys?
Oh, what is it?
Cool.
62 degrees.
Yeah, it's in the mid 60s.
I don't see
Yeah,
ad
it's
reads.
cool at mid 60s. We're lucky the studio's mid 60s.
right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Oh, was that like the
Doesn't sound like the Blues right now. We'll do the Blues here in a little bit.
It did.
Well, it did sound like the Blues. It was the Blues, but it's not going to be the Blues because I don't have the Blues. I'll have the Blues in a little bit. So,
all right.
Let's do some headline news and not the blues with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right, Damon. Well,
actually, no, I'm sorry, Delgado. Let's do some sports with Slick. I'm all screwed up here.
Yeah,
we're all screwed up in the rundown.
You know what?
All right.
That's because you're insufferable with your brackets.
No, just we're a little screwy on the rundown here.
He's a braggadocious.
Yes, he's braggadocious.
He's braggadocious of his bracket.
Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFSXP is the promo code to use. Slick there, what's going on?
I'm going to miss you, Delgado. All right, here we go. VCU in North Carolina, all tied up. Big D. Oh, wait. Yeah, North Carolina just went up by 1 point. 31 seconds to go. Big D is holding up for VCU. Hope they can pull it out. Michigan is absolutely destroying Howard. 87-65. 7 to go there in the second half. Also 7 to go in the second half. Texas over BYU. 70-59. Texas A&M. 53-36 over St. Mary's. 9:22 to go there. And then I gave you the finals earlier tonight. A couple of games coming up later on. We got Houston taking on Idaho at 10:10. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State at 10. And at 9:55, Georgia and St. Louis. Wow, good games tonight. And Rhode Island hockey player whose family members were killed by trans shooter helps team to championship. You guys remember that story, right, with the crazy father?
Oh, yeah.
This is Ryan Gatos of Fox News. Well, Colin Dorgan stepped up for his Rhode Island high school ice hockey team once again, and this time it came in the championship. Dorgan scored the game-tying goal for Blackstone Valley Schools with less than a minute left in the third period against Lincoln High School in the Division II Boys State Championship. It led to 4 nerve-wracking overtime periods before Blackstone finally won the game 3-2 and secured the championship. Unbelievable. He helped get Blackstone Valley to the championship game itself last week when he scored the game-winning goal in double overtime to keep them going. The moment on Wednesday came weeks after a tragic shooting occurred during one of his games in Rhode Island. A shooter identified by police as Robert Dorgan fatally shot his ex-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. His son, Aiden Dorgan, and father, Gerald Dorgan, were also fatally wounded in the shooting. How do you like that? The son goes out and wins the game. Absolutely some story there. Just love that up in Rhode Island. And, well, not quite a wrap in sports, Big D. I see VCU is up here. 80-78. North Carolina on the foul line. Oh, wait a minute. This thing could be over. Big D, you might be, what, 11-0 here?
Yep, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. Let's now do some headline news with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
This guy, I can't believe he missed it. Anyhow, a strange story that I saw because about what's going on in terms of the world. When you're talking about different things, we hear a lot about the intelligence community and things that are going on and who to believe and who not to believe. But one thing still rings true, Damon, is that female spies are still waging sexual warfare. And this time they're going after Silicon Valley secrets. That's right. The Chinese and the Russians are sending attractive women to seduce tech workers, even marrying and having children with their targets. It's the Wild West out there, according to one of the industry's insider, James Mulvinon, Chief Intelligence Officer for Premier Consulting, which provides risk assessment for American companies investing in China, said he was one of the many men recently targeted by this foreign seductress conspiracy, hoping to gain access to U.S. tech secrets. He says, I'm getting an enormous number of very sophisticated LinkedIn requests from the same type of attractive young Chinese women. It really seems to have ramped up lately. I guess he's not quite the looker that he hoped to be. Mulverne, who has investigated espionage in the U.S. for 30 years, said the honey trap tactic has a real vulnerability for the U.S. because we, by statute and by culture, we don't usually do that. So they have an asymptomatic advantage when it comes to sexual warfare and how they use it to get what they want. We're talking about women from Russia and China going through and seducing these guys and getting the tech and sending it back home. Here is Svetlana Lokhova. She might sound familiar, maybe not. She's a British historian and also falsely accused Russian intelligence operative who they say was sent to get General Flynn. Remember when General Flynn, they said he had gone to some conference and left with a woman? They said he left with this woman. Here she is rebuffing that story, cut number 6. Check this out.
It's reflected in a document that I fought for years to get declassified. It says in the document that he attended this event, this dinner, and that I surprised everyone. The woman, Svetlana Lokhova, surprised everyone because she suddenly latched on General Flynn and jumped into a taxi with him. And then they drove to a train station, and then they ended up in London and, basically had an affair. And that Lokhova was suspicious. Within the, on top it says counterintelligence investigation into Russia influence, right? Or on top of the 302. And that's an official document. It's written down, right? Oh, yes. Then even the corrupt FBI guys go like, hang on a second. So they go back. But remember, it's kind of long-winded, but now you see why we had to go through that dinner, because General Flynn was accompanied, and because they've already investigated back in 2014, and people who accompanied him said it's bull. It never happened.
Yeah, so she said it never happened. Like she said, a little long-winded, but both Russia and the CCP are using ordinary citizens these days, including investors, crypto analysis, businessmen, and academics to target their American counterparts instead of using trained agents, making the espionage harder to spot. So we got to look out for this. As again, they're looking for the intelligence to get our technology, because let's face it, Silicon Valley is where it's all at. One former counterintelligence official who now helps Silicon Valley founders divest their foreign investment said recently investigated a case of one beautiful Russian woman who worked at an aerospace company and married her American colleague. They discovered she had gone to a modeling academy in her 20s, later attended Russian soft power school before disappearing for a decade and reemerging as a U.S. cryptocurrency expert. And then the rest is history, as she was able to get this guy to marry her. Amazing stuff. So that's what's going on in terms of the spy game. Everybody thinks, that stuff is over. But no, just because we've got a lot of technology and AI, they're still using the human intelligence. You could just ask Eric Swalwell about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else, Delgado? Anything else?
Yes. I don't know if you saw
I don't
this.
know how. No, I'm just shut up.
What?
No,
just say it.
What? Well, I don't know how she's going to get anything from anybody.
I was thinking the same thing as I'm watching that clip.
How is she going to get anything from anybody?
Even 10 years ago, it would have been tough for me to say, yeah.
Besides that, Vin, yeah, exactly.
I needed subtitles. I didn't know what the hell she was saying, to be honest with you.
That's who you're going to extend to go. I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe not the one we might envision. We might see in a movie or something.
When was it Trump under deposition to he said, "Listen, take you for example."
Yeah, you're not my type.
That's what I was thinking of when I was watching that.
Yeah,
when Trump was under deposition in that video, he says, "Well, take you for example."
Wasn't what I was expecting either.
I would have no interest in you. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, that was great when he said that.
He's the best.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that was Svetlana.
Okay.
The name.
Who was sent to go after General Flynn.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you have it.
It works. That stuff works. Unfortunately, it works.
All right, 25 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do. We're back right after this.
Yeah. How you doing?
God, nope.
a scholarship to one of the big schools.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, kid was great. It's a great story. Imagine your father's in
Land Cruiser Geek on the Live from Studio 6B app says the show is just flying by tonight.
It is.
Yeah. Wow,
Director Aaron says, I don't think Damon liked that story very much.
Which one?
She was a little
You couldn't
long
tell by your
and a
facial
little
expressions,
long in the
by the way.
tooth, too.
Oh, God.
Hey, do the story. I'll do your facial expression. Ready? Go.
I went to the event and
get me out of here, face.
That was it.
VCU 82, North Carolina 78.
Unbelievable.
That would be a VCU winner.
Man, Big D's going to ram it down our throats all night.
Winner.
And Hubert Davis is
12-0.
going to be looking for a job.
Let me go over to the bracket.
Hubert's going to be looking for a job. One and done.
How did
He was a rookie.
lead like that?
Aaron, could you put up my computer,
Oh, my
please?
God. Insufferable.
Oh, God almighty.
Aaron, just
Strikes again.
I just want to go to look at my just want to look at my percentage so far on the bracket. My percentage, that's the three. Well, for me, it's a 3-digit
This is
still.
absolutely rigged.
Most people, it's 2 digits. Mine is a 3-digit.
He's Big D, all right.
Right over here.
Fran has 3 digits, 80.2.
That is amazing.
Points are not
Me
allowed.
and Fran, we're on the same bracket.
Points are not allowed.
We're sharing again.
Did you do Fran's bracket again?
Yeah,
Yeah, because she forgot to do her own.
I did.
I don't even know what to say.
Damn it. Now
I threw out my back.
But don't worry, I'm going to put an L on the board because I'm down 15 with 5 minutes to go for St. Mary's.
The way you're going
Decided
tonight, I wouldn't
not
write
to
that one
show
off
up.
yet. Watch St. Mary's go crazy.
St. Mary's the 7. What was the line in that game? I probably should have looked at the line. Maybe
12.
I made a mistake.
Oh, I don't
12?
No.
Wait a minute. Probably 3-5 or 3-5.
A lot of sports tonight. A lot of sports going on.
Yeah,
I just got scores came in from the
Islanders and Senators.
We got the Lakewood Ranch Pickleball Championships going on right now. Frank Johnson just beat. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. Jeremy.
He just beat Sid Seizure.
Jeremy Carrington.
He just beat Sid Seizure on the court.
Oh shoot!
Come on, BYU. They're battling back. They're down by 6.
Yeah, right. I'll take one, please.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado's going to do a couple more main headlines. Vinnie Mac's going to do some more news. Aaron and Fran holding it down live from Studio 6B. Real America's Voice all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in wherever you're watching or listening. Of course, we appreciate you giving us a few hours of your weekdays, 8 to 10. Like I said, right here on Real America's Voice. Please welcome back to the show one of our favorites, precious metal specialist over at the Birch Gold Group, Philip Patrick. Mr. Patrick, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Very, very good. We're all watching March Madness. I don't know. Did you fill out a bracket anywhere? You don't care.
I'm learning. I
don't do that stuff over there.
Okay.
I still watch soccer, guys.
Okay. Well, one of the things I know you do watch very closely is obviously what's going on in Iran. But why does it matter for most Americans right now to really be paying attention to what's going on over there?
Yeah, look, I don't think the key issue is the war itself, at least in my world, the world of economics. It's the Strait of Hormuz. This is one of the most important choke points in the global economy. 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow stretch of water. So when we see that flow being disrupted as we are, prices don't just move in the Middle East, they move absolutely everywhere. And we're seeing huge volatility in the oil market. Brent crude, I think, hit 120. We're back down just below 100 today. We got to remember a few weeks ago, it was trading at $60 a barrel. Oil is massively inflationary. They say that every $10 increase we see in the price of oil, it drops GDP by a quarter point and raises inflation proportionally as well. So it's massively inflationary. And it's a common misconception I hear a lot. Look, the US produces a lot of oil. It shouldn't affect us. And Look, oil is priced globally, right? So if we see oil disruptions anywhere in the world, it's going to affect the global price of oil. It'll likely mean we won't see supply disruptions here in the United States, but we'll certainly see, if this thing is protracted, prices rise, and ultimately inflation should go up on the back of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a global market. And most people, like you said, obviously what they see first is the price at the pump. But it's bigger than just the fuel at the pump, obviously. And now you have what's happened the last couple of days with LNG and with these attacks that Israel did that Trump says he didn't know about. He's talked to them. But that the LNG, I read some things that people say the natural gas situation because of these attacks could really put us in a worst case scenario with some of the energy problems here going forward. So there's still a lot to pay attention to.
There is huge amounts to pay attention to. And, energy sits at the base of almost every supply chain. So it's important for everything, transportation, manufacturing. When we see sharp prices in oil, the impact spreads really quickly. And we're starting to see it in areas you wouldn't necessarily expect: fertilizer shipment, industrial gases, chemicals, even the helium that they use for imaging and electronics. Prices are going through the roof. They're small examples, but I think they show how interconnected the global economy is. And eventually, and this is when we start to feel it, it feeds into food prices, freight costs, and consumer goods. That's why economists start using words like stagflation when oil shocks happen. It's the worst combination, right? Slower economic growth and higher prices at the same time. That's what we have the potential for. And I think the longer this thing drags, the more likely it is.
Yeah, and you said before, quarter point hit on GDP, and obviously on the other side, raising inflation. You have to think that's going to make some dilemmas for what's going to be a new Federal Reserve chairman here pretty soon. But obviously the one we currently still have, it's problems for him too. What kind of dilemma does this create for the Fed?
It's a very uncomfortable one, and we'll see. Powell's hanging on tight, so I'll be interested to see what happens there anyway. But you're right. It's a really tough dilemma for the Fed. They got two problems at the same time, right? On the one hand, higher oil prices push the cost of living up. On the other, they can slow economic growth as well, and the Fed can't solve both problems at once, right? If they keep cutting rates to support the economy, they risk fueling inflation, and if they keep policy tight to fight inflation, they risk making the downturn worse. This is what economists call a policy trap, and I think the markets are starting to recognize it, and that's why even though we've seen some dollar strengthening recently, borrowing rates on the debt have gone up. That's a sign that investors are more worried about inflation than anything else.
Yeah, I think Kevin Warsh is in a very tough spot, knowing what the boss wants and knowing realistically that inflation is still a huge, huge problem, and cutting rates is just not going to be on the table. I just can't see how cutting rates can be on the table for him, and he's going to have to try to explain that to somebody who put him in this job, who said, "You're going to lower rates, pal."
I agree vehemently. There's no, if you have a dual mandate, there is absolutely no rationale to cut rates today. And even if Trump pressures him to do it, doesn't guarantee that borrowing rates are going to go down anyway. They'll likely go up on the back of that. So it's not a job, not that they would offer it to me, but it's not a job I would want to take.
Yeah. So what do Americans who are watching all of this and still trying to put food on the table, live their lives, do their things, raise their kids, get them to dance, get them back to sports, get them home, do all this, what should they be thinking about when they, especially if they're near retirement age?
Look, I think the first thing is perspective, right? Periods like this remind us, I think, how fragile the entire financial system can be. And you get this sort of single geopolitical choke point, and suddenly it can disrupt energy markets, supply chains, inflation, and monetary policy all at once. This is not a normal investment environment. And historically, when we get this combination of geopolitical instability and inflation risk, investors start looking outside of the financial system. And it's why gold has played such an important role for thousands of years. It doesn't depend on a central bank decision, on a government promise, or stable supply chains. It is simply a store of value that sits outside of the paper financial system. We would never suggest that people abandon traditional investors, but I think what prudent investors do in climates like this is they diversify. And given the nature of the problems we have and the risks we face, borrowing costs, debt service, perhaps precious metals, I think, become a very important hedge. So I think it's that simple. Be preemptive, understand the problems, and try and hedge yourself, and you'll be fine.
And if you want to see if precious metals gold is right for you to hedge against inflation and just have a hedge overall in your portfolio, you can text America to 989898. Might not be a bad idea to do it tonight. Text America to 989898 and get started with our friends from Birch Gold and see if it's right for you. Get that pamphlet, get that information packet, see if it's the right thing for you to do. Text America to 989898. Philip Patrick, always a pleasure to have you on, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damon. Thank you, guys.
All right, enjoy the rest of your night. Philip Patrick from Birch Gold here live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. Vinnie Mac is in West Palm Beach. Vinnie Mac, what else is on your news radar tonight?
Well, it's not the biggest story in the world, but it got me thinking about a subject. Do you remember, I don't know, it was many years ago, maybe 10, even 20 years ago, when everyone was up in arms about illegal nannies or illegal housekeepers and who had them? When politicians had an illegal housekeeper, illegal immigrant who was a housekeeper or all that, it was a big to-do. Oh my goodness, they were freaked out that some politician here or there hired someone to do some help in the house and they were not legally here as a citizen. And actually, some politicians had to jump out of races and so on when that happened. And wow, have things changed. And that's why I thought this story really, hit home with me. In New York City, there's a staffer for the New York City Council that is being deported because they're here illegally. They worked for the New York City government on the New York City Council, and they've been arrested because of immigration violations and so on, and are now being deported. So first off, holy cow. How does an illegal get a job with the government in general, especially on a council or anything else? Well, how about that senator from the congresswoman from Minnesota? She came in. We know she came in illegally because she said she married her brother. They've already produced that paperwork. Nothing's happening to her. I guess my point is across the board, before everyone was up in arms over what I would consider, a bad but a somewhat minor incident of hiring someone to do work in your house or perhaps be a cleaning person and so on, and maybe not knowing it, and they would get filleted. Now, they actually have jobs in our government, and we are deporting one. We need to deport a lot more. And what did our great mayor of New York City say? He freaked out. He freaked out. Rather than just honoring the law and saying, you know what, this guy was here illegally, we didn't know it, and, there you go. No. He's absolutely freaking out. So it goes to show you what has happened with the Democratic Party in particular over the last, 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years, and how radical it's become, because a minor thing was a big deal 15, 20 years ago, costing politicians their jobs. And now these same illegals are working in our government left and right. I thought it was an interesting story and a real story of the sign of the times, of where we've actually gone. The Democratic Party, I think we've talked about this many times, has changed so radically. Even the moderates now are so scared to say anything against the hardcore progressives that they're going to lose their, because they're going to lose their power, whatever. And moderates, I'm saying that kindly because, I'm just trying to look at senators that seem to have some sensible ideas in the past that have absolutely none now because they're so radicalized by the progressives who run the party, the minor minority of the party running the party. And here's a perfect example of where we've gone. It's a real outrage, frankly, that anybody in our government is working there illegally. But when you see it happening now in the Congress, you see it happening in local governments like New York City, and you see the elected mayor having a fit that they're enforcing the law. I think we know where we all stand right now, which is we're in a complete loony bin. And here's another piece of evidence.
Well, you know what kind of interesting too about that, you kind of hold a mirror up to what you see in some of these countries where you go, how does this radical government get control of all these people? Just exactly what you just described. What's happening in the Democrat Party, right? Is that you have this small sliver of crazies. All of a sudden, they've seized power. and everybody else just falls into line. It's kind of harkens back to even I'd say Nazi Germany if you think about it, because people were afraid. They're like, oh my goodness, we can't say anything. They're going to kill us. And so they just play along thinking, well, hopefully they won't come for us. Eventually they come for all of them. And also, when you talk about immigrants, talk about we brought this up story last year. I think it was September, where the what do you call it? He was the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, the largest public school district in the state of Iowa. Right? Great state. He was illegal, but he was still hired.
And that was the second job he was hired at in a school system. He started, I think, in Baltimore.
Right. As a superintendent for an entire school system. Didn't even belong in the country.
No background check.
No background check whatsoever.
We haven't even scratched the surface here, by the way, of so many people that are in it. But to one more quick point. You look at Iran. They just hung this wrestler. They killed him, and they're trying to keep their people in line, right? That's how these dictatorships work. Yeah. In our Democratic Party, they do the same thing without killing them. They just destroy their lives. So they don't cross. It's the same kind of threat, to your point, that they'll just ruin you if you cross the line.
And the equivalent to a hanging is get you out of office.
Exactly.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Thursday night. We're back right after this. We'll get to everybody, a little more sports. We'll see what's going on in the brackets. Let me check. Oh, yeah, I'm still number one. All right, Delgado will have news. Vinny Mac will as well. We're back right after this.
Back.
Facebook, what is that about? Comments disabled on Facebook. What is the deal with that? You guys see that?
No.
Hang on. That is weird. Up next. No. Maybe it's my system here.
Let me check.
Let me put my passcode in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Came back up. I had to reboot it. Thank you. We got another big birthday. Who's got a birthday here? We got Debbie Allen is on top of all of the birthdays today. Vinny, Damon, another big birthday. Judy Gargill. It's her 70th as well. Oh,
Judy
my
Garland?
Goodness.
Oh, who?
Judy, what is the use sitting alone in your room? No, that's Judy Gargill.
All right. Happy birthday, Judy.
Come hear the music play.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Life is a cabaret, old chum. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was my Judy Garland, ladies and gentlemen. Judy Garland.
Well, I guess I'm not 100% anymore because St. Mary's lost, right?
Check, please.
Why am I still at 100%, though?
Because the game hasn't gone final yet.
Oh, okay. Looks like it's final to me. 63 to 50.
I knew it.
I did pick St. Mary's, right? Yeah. Sorry, I got Houston coming out of there anyways.
Todd Parkhurst says, Vin, I'm in Palm Beach till Monday. Would like to buy you coffee. Well, Todd, I love coffee. I like coffee. That is my vice.
Yeah, no, it did go final, Big D. 63-50.
Yeah.
Maybe you made a mistake.
I don't know why it still says 100%.
You picked Texas A&M by mistake? You definitely see it.
No, I see it. I picked St. Mary's. Maybe it just takes time to register.
Pepperdine didn't make it?
Pepperdine, no.
No.
Do you see the Senators scored with like 10 seconds left in the third period to win 3-2?
Yeah, I saw.
Brady Kachuk. I mean,
yep, geez. I saw.
You just
Sounds like we're on the moon. 13 to the hour. Talk to you about our friends at Tax Network USA. Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? Filed every year but still keep owing? Retired and got hit with a surprise tax bill? Are you a business owner with a tax bill you can't afford? Maybe you took money early out of your 401k because you had to, and now you owe. Well, however your tax issue started, the result is going to be the same. Your balance is not going down, penalties grow, interest compounds, and many of you are about to owe again this year with no plan in place. So stop what you're doing right now and call our friends at Tax Network USA. The IRS can garnish wages, levy bank accounts, and even take your home or retirement. With over 15 years in business, Tax Network USA has seen and resolved it all, helping taxpayers nationwide settle over $1 billion in tax debt. Call 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000, or you can visit tnusa.com/RAV, R-A-V, tnusa.com/RAV, and get on board right now. But call 1-800-905-8000 and see if our friends at Tax Network USA can help you with your situation before it gets any worse. So, all right. Last segment of the show already, unbelievably. So let me try to get to everybody one more time. Slickster, I'll start with you. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. What's going on, Slickster?
All right, Big D, couple of games to go, but March Madness first day almost wrapped up. Texas and BYU in a good one, 75-71. The Longhorns are up. 31 seconds to go there in the second. Well, that VCU comeback is the largest comeback in NCAA tournament history. They came back from 19 points down. So, yeah, he's going to be looking for a new job, the head coach there. Because TCU over Ohio State earlier today, and I gave you some of the other scores. But we'll have an update tomorrow night as well. Michigan 101-80 over Howard. They look like they're going to be a strong club there, Michigan. No surprise there. But, yeah, good stuff all around. Go back over to the NBA, though, Big D. Pistons' Cade Cunningham diagnosed with serious long-term injury. This is Ernesto Cova of Yardbarker. The Detroit Pistons' NBA championship aspirations may have taken a massive blow. I mean, they're the number one team in the East. They've been a terror all year. And now with superstar point guard Cade Cunningham, he was diagnosed with a collapsed lung, and there's no timetable for his return or information about whether it'll be this season, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. Just in, Detroit Pistons star Cade Cunningham has been diagnosed with a collapsed lung and is expected to miss extended time. The former number one pick left Tuesday's matchup with the Washington Wizards early in the first quarter. He dove for a loose ball and was diagnosed with back spasms and didn't return after that. He's averaging 24.5 points, 9.9 assists, and 5.6 rebounds. That's a big blow for Detroit. And Vin had mentioned this earlier. Iran executes 19-year-old champion wrestler Salah Mohammadi in public hanging. Delinquent at Breitbart. The Iranian regime executed a 19-year-old wrestling champion. Apparently, this guy was a big star, too, along with two others on Thursday who were arrested in January's popular uprising. All three men were hanged in public. Salah Mohammadi, one of Iran's fast-rising wrestling stars and a native of, I guess it's Guam, was executed for the crime of waging war against God. His execution was a blatant political murder, part of the Islamic Republic's pattern of targeting athletes to crush dissent and terrorize society, said Nimafar, a human rights activist and Iranian combat athlete. Ooh. So just terrible. I mean, well, no surprise with these crazies, but wow, that's quite a blow. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. Back to you.
I remember the first one, that young man they had, and Dana White came out publicly to speak about it and called President Trump. And I know he said President Trump tried to intervene and do a lot even behind the scenes, but
man,
when you know what you're dealing with over there, there's just no pushback. There's just no leverage. There's nothing you can do. And now they've done it again with this poor soul. And it's just horrifying.
Yeah, when you see this,
horrifying.
How could you question what the president is doing? How could you possibly question when they do this to their own people?
Yeah.
All right,
and the people have no guns. They have no arms. They have no way to defend themselves.
Nope.
They have none of that. They've taken all that away. All you gun control crazy people out there. So these Iranians, what can they do? I mean, you can't blame them for not coming out and protesting it the way we think they should be now. I mean, they're just killing them left and right. And this guy, unfortunately, bad example.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Vin, anything else on your news radar?
Yeah. I got a little blurb about this moron, the former counterterrorism chief, Joe Kent. I think we all know. I think we call him Mr. Moron now. But he's apparently under investigation for alleged classified leaks. Fox News is reporting that. I think when this all happened, I remember when this story came up, we were talking about it. I think it was Tuesday. And Damon, you came out and said, well, I bet you that's the guy who's been leaking a lot of this stuff. And I think we all kind of looked at that and said, yep, that makes a lot of sense. Well, he's under investigation now. And that predates, by the way, his departure. So this isn't something that he left. It's sour grapes. They're going after him. They've been looking at this guy for a while. And my guess is it was getting hot in the kitchen. And he realized, I better get the hell out of here, and I got to bury some people while I'm going, maybe so these guys don't take action against me. And, well, here we are. He's being investigated, so we'll see. All the people celebrating this guy, we appreciate his service. We appreciate everybody who serves. But you know what? Sounds like this is a bad dude. So, and I don't like what he did when he left and dissed Trump during the middle of a war either. But if he was leaking, he deserves what he gets.
I don't know that he's a bad dude. I think obviously he served the country valiantly, and I think his service and what's happened to him personally, I think is beyond reproach for sure. I think his decision making here has been atrocious, and you've heard some comments about people who, and I don't know if any of them are true. People say, and you hear these stories about, Eric Erickson had one today. He said, last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth, he looked at me and he said, I think Joe Kent takes the short bus or something like that. You've heard multiple things like that. But by the way, having said that, Trump is the one who put him in this job. He put him up and got him in there. So, if you're going to be fair, you made the decision that this was your guy and put him there, and now he's turned out to be a backstabbing weasel, at least when it comes to this situation. So, but listen, there's a lot of people who, think there's something here. There's more here than meets the eye with his story. I don't think so. I think when you run to Tucker and Candace as your first two interviews, and now he's backed out of Levin after saying, yeah, sure, let's go. I'll go on Levin. Yeah, okay. JK is not going on alive. JK is not going on Levin. JK in that situation stands for just kidding. Not going there. So, Delgado, anything else left for you?
Yeah, in the 1 minute that I've got left, we all know how crazy the left is. They're lunatics. They're nuts. They turn their hair blue. They say stupid things and react emotionally to just about anything and everything associated with President Trump. And some of them even think they're, different genders. Well, this one took it to another level, Damon. She thinks she's actually a different species. Check out this liberal lady who decides that I guess she decided she wanted to be a canine. I don't know. You be the judge. Cut number 9.
What?
Check this out and watch the dog's reaction to what she's doing. Cut number 9. Liberal lunatics thinks she's a dog. She's barking, and I guess she was looking to try to get some food from the place. Well, this other dog didn't take very kindly to it. So he put a stop to it. All of a sudden, she learned how to speak English really quick.
Barking up the
look
wrong
at that.
tree.
Delgado's got to go on vacation.
What? You're barking up the wrong tree, Delgado. Get out of here.
As always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks, guys, on the show. Delgado, see you next Friday. Have a great week off. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Great job as always. Most of all, thank you, the live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, Friday night. Me and Slick will be here in the studio. Woo! Vinnie Mac hopefully joins us from West Palm Beach. We'll see you then.
public because sometimes I have accidents. Can Medicaid help me with bladder control products?
Can I get my bladder control products delivered at no cost to me?
Is there a home delivery service for bladder control products?
How would you like to have all your incontinence supplies delivered discreetly right to your door at no cost to you? You can if you're Medicaid eligible, thanks to Active Style. At Active Style, we understand your needs and offer convenient home delivery of incontinence products for children and adults. When you call a personal consultant, someone like me will help you find the best bladder control supplies for you. Inside every product is a super absorbent core that turns liquid to gel and locks it away to help protect your skin and keep you dry. Your comfort and satisfaction are assured by our Get It Right guarantee. If the fit's not right, we'll